Hey there guys, Raj here. Hope you guys are all doing well, and today I am back with a video that basically combines like two in one really. So this is an updated fragrance collection video. I know a lot of you have asked me about that, and I said that I would probably do it later this year, but recently I was tagged by GreggyBoy76 in the 10 Fragrances for Life series. So Greg, well, first of all, good to see you back actually, because it's been a while, and yeah, I've been catching up with your content today. Really good. Always good to see one of my favorite reviewers back. And yeah, thanks for tagging me in this 10 Fragrances for Life series. So I thought, since I only have 12 bottles, I might as well combine it with an updated fragrance collection video. And as you guys know, if you've been following my content, I'm not really interested in having large collections anymore. 10 fragrances, or 12 I actually have, is pretty good for me. And yeah, for me, I'm gonna stick with this collection, stick with these bottles, and once they're done, I may not buy them again, or I may buy them again. I might rotate them in and out. So there are many fragrances that are not in here which I would love to own, and maybe I'll have them again in my life. So I don't really I'm not fully behind the whole fragrances for life concept, even though I do like the idea and I do get it. But for me, I think I'm more about having fragrances for a long time rather than constantly chopping and changing, and just having a fairly modest collection. So yeah, enough rambling. Let me just get straight into it. I'm going to start at the back, where I've got 3 fragrances from the brand Guerlain, my favorite fragrance brand, and the first one is a fragrance that I've actually reviewed fairly recently. This one is called Heritage, and this is the eau de parfum version. There is an eau de toilette also. This is proper manly stuff, you know. This is a little bit spicy. There's also basically it's quite actually harsh in the opening 15-20 minutes, to be honest, but it has a lot of notes in there, a lot of patchouli, kind of ambery, a little bit sweet actually, sharp citrus notes in there. I picked this up actually when I was in Paris, because I couldn't find the eau de toilette. Sorry, I couldn't find this version. I could only find the eau de toilette here in London. So I think maybe this is exclusive just to Guerlain boutiques or the Paris boutique. I'm not 100% sure. Really good fragrance. A fragrance that I've picked up recently. This is L'Instant de Guerlain Pour Homme, the eau de toilette. Now, I used to have the eau de parfum version, which is known as the Eau Extreme, or maybe that's how it used to be called when it was in the older packaging. And I wanted to get that fragrance back in my collection, but I was on the website where I bought this from, and I just thought, you know what, let me just go for the eau de toilette, something a little bit different. And yeah, it is still really good. It is like that patchouli, that cocoa, that chocolatiness, but not as amplified as the EDP. It's a little bit more watery feeling. It's a really nice fragrance, and I have been enjoying it. As you can see, I've put a dent in the bottle. But if I'm honest, I think the eau de parfum is better. I just think there's much more going on, and it's just much more enjoyable. But this is a really good fragrance, that's for sure. So going on to the final Guerlain, and this is one that I picked up from their Champs-Élysées boutique in Paris. This is part of the La et la Matière collection, and this one is called Bois d'Arménie, so Armenian woods, and it comes in this really cool 20 ml atomizer, which, as far as I'm aware, you can only get this in, again, maybe the boutiques or just the Paris boutiques. And this is, for me, the way forward when it comes to the La et la Matière collection. You can have, you know, five of them, 100 ml in total, and experience all of them rather than because they're not exactly cheap fragrances. Bois d'Arménie is lovely. It's slightly sweet, slightly smoky. It's got vanilla and benzoin, and it's very good. But Guerlain are excellent at doing slightly smoky, sweet fragrances. And yeah, this is a great fragrance, and I'm actually thinking maybe later this year, because in London we have access to the Eurostar, just going down to Paris for the day, and you know, just popping into the Guerlain boutique and coming home at night with a bag full of goodies. So yeah, something to think about in the future. A fairly new fragrance, which I don't think I've mentioned on my channel before. This is from the house Caron, and this one is called Le Troisième Homme, which means the third man. There you go. You don't really hear too much about Caron on YouTube, actually. It's not, I don't think it's widely distributed. Maybe that's the reason. But they make really good fragrances. Lavender is one note that they use a lot in their men's lineup. This one, compared to like Caron Pour Homme or Pour en Homme, not as much lavender as that one, but this is citrus and lavender, and it's a little bit powdery. It's very aromatic and zesty and like a barbershop feel. Really love this fragrance a lot. Perfect in the springtime. Okay, going on to, I mean, this is just such a good fragrance. I wish it lasted a little bit longer, even though it is called Colonia Intensa from the Italian, for some reason I thought they were Spanish, but the Italian brand Acqua di Parma Colonia Intensa. This is actually, even though this video is like 10 fragrances for life, I pretty much have had this fragrance in my collection ever since I really got into fragrances on this level. I think this might be my second bottle or something, second or third bottle. Very, very classic it's a very like classy men's fragrance with nice citrus notes, a bit of leather in there. It's quite interesting. It's got a bit of depth, but I wish it lasted a little bit longer than 6 hours that it lasts on my skin. Right, so we're going into the middle row now, and here we have from the brand Parfum de Marly. This one is called Herod. This is just the beauty of a fragrance. First of all, the bottle is just, it's such a sort of powerful looking bottle, and it's got a lot of sort of honey and tobacco and sweeter notes. Amazing in the wintertime. Smells so good sprayed onto a wool jacket or like a cashmere scarf. Perfect. Next up, from the house of Bulgari, and this one is called Man in Black, and this particular version is the All Blacks edition. It's like a limited edition. When the Rugby World Cup was on a few years ago, the All Blacks are basically New Zealand. If you didn't know, New Zealand actually ended up winning that World Cup. So this one is spicy, it's boozy, it's basically, it's like a rugged smelling. It's like a leather jacket kind of smell, like a biker would wear this. Maybe that's why it's called Man in Black, I don't know. But yeah, I really like this one actually quite a lot. It is quite intense actually in the opening, but settles down to be something nice and sweet and leathery and boozy and a little bit spicy. Really like it a lot. This fragrance from the brand of Abdul Samad Al Qureshi. I picked this up from their store. They have a standalone store in Morocco, in Marrakesh. This one is called Khashab Al Oud, or Bois de Oud. And this is like a boozy oud fragrance. Quite unusual. I find it to be quite unusual in the sense that, how do I describe it? It's unusual in that a lot of people are not going to be wearing this type of scent, really, is what I mean. And you can see like the wood chips in here. It's really cool. To be honest, I don't have like a great knowledge, even though like I have worn this fragrance a few times. I really need to wear it a little bit more to kind of, I'm finding it hard to express myself with this fragrance, but need to wear it a little bit more. Might go back to it in the warmer weather actually. The colder weather. Yeah, so going on to this fragrance. Now, this was actually gifted to me recently by a reviewer actually. I won't mention the name, but thank you to that person if you are watching. And this one is called Hepcat from the brand Fleur. Very, very nice fragrance. I like this one a lot, I have to say. Not a brand I know anything about. I mean, I've heard a few things on YouTube. Don't really know too much about it. The only thing I do know for sure is that it really does remind me of Tom Ford's Oud Wood, but maybe a little bit more lighter. Not in terms of how powerful the scent is, but lighter in the sense that Oud Wood at times can be quite a dense fragrance for me, and this has like a lighter structure but still smells really nice. Got a few more fragrances which I haven't done a haul. I don't think I've done a haul video, to be honest, guys, an acquisitions video. So for some of you may not realize I have these fragrances in my collection. This one is actually a repurchase. I picked this one up about a month ago. Egoist from Chanel. One thing I've noticed is that they've actually changed the cap. It used to kind of have like a faux wooden effect, but they've changed it to be this plasticky thing. This is just It's a really, really nice fragrance. I think it has a level of complexity that a lot of Chanel fragrances in the mainstream men's line don't have. It's very, very different to, you know, like Bleu de Chanel, for example. It has a lot going on and actually can be a little bit overwhelming in the opening maybe hour. But there's rosewood in here, giving a sweet woody effect. It's quite an aromatic scent at times, but then also has kind of like almost like an animalic edge to it, to be honest. It's a fragrance I used to have. Probably shouldn't have sold it, if I'm honest with you, but it's good to have it back in the collection. Next up, I'm not sure you're going to pick up on the name, maybe just about, from Hermès. This is Un Jardin sur le Toit, a garden on the roof. I mean, first of all, the bottle, this is the 50 ml size. The 100 ml bottle looks much better, but this is, I just love how the sort of green sort of, I don't know how to describe it, gradually becomes more greener as it goes down the bottle. This is, yeah, it captures a lot of elements of what you might find in a garden, with fruits growing and flowers growing, and it's got a bit of a sweet pear note in there. It's got some light florals. Maybe traditionally a more feminine fragrance. I know some people won't necessarily agree with that type of terminology, but it works really well on my skin, and I have to say is so good in the spring and summer. The final bottle in this updated fragrance collection video and 10 fragrances for life tag video. Another fragrance that was given to me by the same person who gave me this fragrance, so thanks again. And this one, I love this fragrance. This is from Ramon Monegal, and this one is called Querelle. So Querelle, here you go. First of all, the bottle design is really cool. It's a really cool bottle design. I'm not quite sure like what the shape is called. I'm sure there's a name for it, but it's like not hexagonal, but whatever. I can't quite get my words out. I just love the design. Querelle is basically a leather fragrance, but it has a softer, sweeter edge to it. It is, I'm actually going to just bring it to my nose 1 second. So it definitely has a sweeter honey-like effect. I think actually honey is one of the notes. I had a look a few weeks ago. I can't remember exactly the note breakdown, but it's like honey and sweet leather. There's some floral notes in here. It's got an animalic kick to it, but it's not harsh and aggressive. It's actually quite a soft fragrance. It's like a tamed version of a harsh leather, and I just love that noise when it closes. So yeah, guys, there you go. An updated fragrance collection video. There are many brands, many bottles in here that are not in here, which I would love to add, and that will happen with time. You know, I've got my whole life to buy fragrances. I'm not obsessed with fragrances anymore. I kind of feel like I had a slightly unhealthy obsession with fragrances, if I'm honest with you. And I feel like I'm in a good space here with 10 or 12 bottles. I'm wearing them, you know, and that's the key thing. I'm wearing these fragrances. You know, I see people on YouTube, and I'm not saying anything negative, but you see collections which are absolutely huge, and you know, I would say maybe 90% of them are they being worn. Not really, and I used to be that person with a large collection. So I'm really enjoying this. And do what the most important thing when it comes to collecting fragrances is do what is comfortable for you. If you want to have a 1,000 bottle collection and you love that and you can manage that, go for it. If you want to have a collection of 3 and that suits your life and your lifestyle and is in line with your enthusiasm with fragrances, then do that. It's the best thing. So thanks for watching, guys. The person I am going to tag in this video is a guy who is a UK reviewer. Haven't seen him for a while, so maybe this video will bring him out of the rock that he's maybe hiding under. So Wasim from Handsome Smells, over to you. You are tagged. And thanks for watching, guys. Let me know, have you got any of these fragrances? Let me know your thoughts, or whatever you have to say it. Check me out on Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.